Welcome back to another episode of STL Real Estate Roundtable. I'm your host, Jaden Barr, CEO and team leader of Keller Williams Chesterfield, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, Zoe Taylor.
Hello. How are you?
Thank you so much for being on. I'm great. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Awesome.
Glad to be in the air conditioning.
Let's go. Yes, summer heat. We are in it. Well, I like to start off pretty much every episode the same, which is what got you started in a career in real estate?
It's kind of crazy. I didn't mean to be here, which is kind of weird. I was married. I had a 2-year-old and a 2-month-old at the time, and my husband, now ex-husband, came to me and said that we were having some financial problems and that he would like for me to get a job. And I'm like, okay. I was coaching CrossFit at the time, just a couple of morning classes, mainly just to get a free box membership and then a little side money to get my manicure or something every month. So I was like, okay, I can work more, but that's mornings and evenings. Daycare doesn't make sense at that point. So he was like, why don't you get your real estate license? And I'm like, okay. So I did. Thinking that I would just kind of help friends and families. We'd bought and sold a few houses, and I looked at the amount of money that we spent realtors doing that. So I was like, okay, I'll just do it for ourselves, and ended up being the best decision I could have ever made for myself.
That's awesome. Okay. So when did you get licensed and kind of what's the career looked like so far?
Yeah. So I got, I guess technically license was end of 2017, but really 2018. I did 82 transactions that year, and I think it was family. And then 2019, I had a couple of friends that were matched for residency in St. Louis, and they were just Facebook friends. I'd never met them in real life, but we were in some Facebook groups together. And when they matched for residency in St. Louis, they wanted me to help them buy a house. And so I really got into understanding physician loans and the market that they were needing for residency, and understanding that, yes, they're doctors, but the income isn't what most people would reflect as physician income. And they had a lot of special obstacles that they had to overcome. So I decided I really wanted to specialize in that niche. I was a medical family myself. My ex-husband's a physician. And so I understood the debt that they were accumulating and the stress and the demand of their jobs and the physician's spouse's role in that, because they're there as a big support person during that time. And I made that my niche. And then 2019, I made full-time income, and 2020 was insane. It was just a rocket ship from there. And every year I've had growth after growth after growth of at least 25%, even this year. I'm not even trying to grow, and it's still happening. It's funny because my brokers are like, what's your goal for the year? And I'm like, I literally don't want more business. I'd be okay with just coasting for a little bit. And I'm grateful for it. So don't take that as whatever, but I'm grateful, but it's a lot sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I think, when people get to the level that you're at, I think it comes with a lot of things that you didn't really ask for, right?
Yeah.
Which do you have plans to do you have a team? Do you grow a team? What's that look like?
I started a team last year. I have a daughter actually who is going to be 21 in a couple of weeks. And so she got licensed last year to support me. She was having some issues. She went to 2 different colleges and they both went bankrupt. So she got this. She was a lacrosse athlete and a nursing student, and it was just it was a debacle. So she came back to St. Louis kind of defeated and was like, fine, I'll come work with you, and got a real estate license with me. And then from there, I had another agent join. She was married to a physician. I had another agent join. He's married to a physician and a physician lender. And then I just brought another agent onto my team who is also married to a physician. So
this is niche.
It's hyper niched to the max.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So how have you seen that? Is there any advice you'd give to somebody looking to get into a niche or?
I know that I think realtors usually try to cast a broad net to capture whoever they can. I think those that niche down are setting themselves apart in such a distinct way. I mean, I know physician loans, I know better. I mean, I don't want to be an ego or whatever, but I guarantee if I talk to, 10 other realtors, I know way more than them about physician loans and what physician needs and the specialties and what their incomes are and what their commute time needs to be depending on their calls, schedule or whatever. So, and there's just a lot that I can tell you about working with physicians that you're not going to get from other realtors. I think the same thing with like veterans or people that are working with people downsizing into their retirement homes, or, I think that it's very beneficial to niche. And that doesn't mean I only work with physicians, but 90% of my business is doctors.
Yeah. What's the saying? If you speak to everyone, you speak to no one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the more niche you are, like people know that a specialist surgeon, right? Someone that specializes in something, they can definitely solve a specific problem, but they can also probably solve a general problem too, right?
Exactly.
But the generalist, right, doesn't always.
Yeah. They don't want a primary care physician doing surgery on you.
Right. Exactly. What do you think has been the key to your success over the years?
I think that I just also have that like entrepreneur, like hustle and mindset. My parents were both business owners, but even owning their own, my mom owned a pool spa store and like a JCPenney catalog store. I was in a very rural town. So she had a couple of businesses. My dad was an HVAC contractor, but owned his own business. And I saw him transition from being the guy turning wrenches to the guy doing the bids and in the office and employing his workers that then did the work or whatever. And then I also saw them create probably the most amount of their wealth through real estate. They invested a lot of their money into land deals, turned commercial deals, built a hotel in my hometown, tiny town, but did really well making those decisions and investing their income in that way. And so I bought my first house when I was 25. I had a tiny little like trust set up that I had gotten through college and hadn't touched it. My sisters had spent their money early on like, computer or like whatever it was. And I was just like, no, I want to hold off. I think it was a little different because I was a teenage mom too. Like I had to, like I knew I needed to make the best decisions for my future possible. So I set that money aside, waited till I was done with college, bought a little $25,000 house in Dupo, Illinois. So right across the river, put like $7,000 into it and sold it a couple of years later for over $50,000. So that was my little first taste into investing.
Power of real estate.
And the power of real estate. So again, circling back when my ex-husband was like, you should get a real estate license. I was a little like, there's some animosity there, but I was also just like, okay, that interests me. And I think I could do well with that.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's awesome. So, you talked about getting into real estate was one of the best things, you could have ever done. Like, what do you love about real estate?
It's not monotonous. That's for sure. I don't think that I could just show up to a 9-to-5 doing the same thing every day. I did that for a few years. And I just couldn't do it. So I love how different every deal is, every day is. Sometimes it drives me crazy because I don't have a schedule, but I also have so much flexibility. My kids are in sports and I rarely miss a game, and we go to church every Sunday, and the priority things for me, I can work around, and I don't think that I could do that with, a traditional employed job. And I'm just really good at it. Like I feel like I'm personable. I'm type A, so I'm good at like negotiating, and I just enjoy kind of like taking the reins and taking charge of the transactions and getting the job done, and then like seeing what comes to fruition out of it. It's just a lot of fun for me.
Yeah. You mentioned, growing a team. Like what are some of the challenges in doing that? Because, there's probably, top agents that are scared to make their first hire. Maybe they made a poor hire. Like,
yeah.
Like what are the challenges there?
One of the first agents I brought on the team, I love her. I mean, oh my gosh, I love her to death. She's like so wonderful, but she was freshly licensed and needed someone that was going to like train her from bottom up of how to do things. And at the level that I'm at with the transactions that I have, while I was navigating a divorce and moved 3 times last year and sold 3 homes, and I just didn't have the capacity to train her last year. I figured out I will take an agent that's got some experience and like give them the roadmap to creating success and cultivating clients. I don't think that I'm the one that's going to teach them everything about like contracts and transactions and stuff like that. So I've definitely learned who works well with me and who I can mentor and lead for their success. I didn't have a roadmap for her success, and I kind of regret. And I'm happy that she is where she is, and she's doing great now. And it's like a perfect situation. And we're still good friends. But I was just like, I just can't do this right now. So it was a good learning. I also had a national team too. So I created an organization 2.5 years ago now of physicians or realtors that are married to physicians. There's about 85 nationwide, all different brokerages. So Keller Williams and
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out, exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody else in between, solo brokers, but all the realtors are married to physicians. We specialize with working with physicians.
That's awesome.
I've let them to ensure that they're all full-time realtors, do a certain amount of volume every year so that when I'm sending referrals or they're sending referrals, like everyone's experienced, we can trust them, they're in good hands.
There's a barrier to entry.
Yeah, there is a barrier to entry. And they pay like a small annual fee, but it's cool. I've really enjoyed. I do monthly calls where I have training sessions, whether it's like a physician contract attorney that comes on or whoever is the specialist, or we just have roundtable sessions to kind of like work through some touch points that we've had issues with. It's been fun leading them as well. So it's not, I wouldn't call them my team because they're not like local and I'm not teaching them how to do real estate. They've got their own markets. They're doing their thing, but
they're like partners.
They're like partners. I'm teaching them my niche and helping them dive into the success that I've created here in St. Louis.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. So I think, that kind of touches on my, the whole reason for why I started this podcast, right? Is like, you mentioned agents from different brokerages. Like, I think there's a lot of great brokerages. There's a lot of great agents at all these brokerages. And so, I think the more that we can collaborate rather than compete with one another, like the better the industry looks as a whole, right? I think people get way into like too much into, well, I'm at this brokerage, so I can't share like my success or can't, there's plenty to go around.
Oh yeah.
Right. Absolutely. And so my goal with this is just make agents look really good and like highlight some of the top people in the area. And so I'm so grateful that I've taken the time to just sit down and chop it up a little bit.
Thank you for having me. I've definitely had like a little bit of an interesting like path, I guess, to be where I am with the specialty that I chose. But I like really try to preach and push like somebody finding their niche. Like we've got agents at our office. She's redhead. I'm like, make a national like referral company of redheaded realtor. Like you guys have a specific personality and you mesh really well. So like I could see that, just find your brand, find your realtors that were attorneys or used to be teachers. Like they're very good realtors that had, teaching experience prior to real estate. Like I feel like those people could lock arms and really like motivate each other, veterans that are realtors, like making that their niche. I just think that there's a really great way to expand upon that and make national networks that can serve your clients, not just here locally, but reach out further.
Absolutely. So you mentioned you're not a big goal setter. What does the future, 3 to 5 year vision of your business look like? If you had to.
I know if I had to, I would be taking on more of like a team lead position, probably doing a few less transactions just so that I had better work-life balance with my kiddos. They're 8, 10, and 20 and all still living at home right now. And just trying to really like value my time with them. So making it so that I've got a little bit more consistency in what I'm doing.
Yeah. Do you have any form of like leverage in your business right now with like virtual assistants or systems, processes, things that
definitely
how to make your life a little easier?
Well, I mean, yeah. So one of the reasons why I switched brokerages a few years ago is because I do love the tools that Compass has to have systems in place. Like when I have a buyer, when I have a seller and I plug them in, I took a lot of time to put a lot of my systems and checklists in place. That makes my life easier, my client's life easier. I use a TC for every transaction. Some of that's just to get some auditing on the back end to make sure that I'm not missing. Sometimes when you get to a certain point, you have some volume. I get a little scared that I'm going to miss something. I'm kind of OCD and I don't, but still, I just like having extra eyes on things. And then I do have an executive assistant that works for me. She mainly runs my national company. So she's tracking all of my referrals that come in and out. Because I've done like 20 referrals this year or something like that, which is pretty sweet.
Impressive.
That if you want to talk about 5-year goal, I would love for just like that to grow and I could just live off of the referrals that I'm tracking and monitoring and nurture that. And then just kind of pick and choose who I'm working here with in St. Louis. But yeah, so she kind of helps me on that end. But for the most part, all of my local business and marketing is just me.
Yeah. From every, top agent or any agent that I'm talking to, people are either looking for more time or more money. Yeah. Right. And so a lot of the top producers that have the money, right, they're looking for more time, right, so that they can be more present at home or get into other things outside of work.
Yeah, I know. I've even dabbled with like, do I get my license in Colorado and do like some second home market? I think that everybody here gets licensed in Florida, and tries to like dual, you know what I mean, like be dually represented in both states. I just don't feel like a lot of people are doing like ski towns and mountain towns. So
Yeah.
I could see like dabbling in that maybe if I had the free time. We'll
Yeah.
see.
That's
Let's see
awesome.
what the future brings.
That's awesome. So what does a day in the life look like for you right now?
It's chaos. I don't know. It's a real estate. You know, you wake up, you look at your to-do list and deadlines and contingencies and just tackle them one at a time. I've got 50-50 custody of my 2 younger kids. So half of the days I try to cram in as much contract work and time on my computer and the things that I need to get done plugged in then so that on days that I have my kiddos, I'm more present. But I mean, this morning I woke up and I went on a hike with my kids and my dog. And then I came home, did a little bit of work, went and cleaned out a darn multifamily that needed photos taken and they hadn't cleaned their stuff out. So I went and sweat quite a bit and moved some furniture around.
And you got here right on
And
time.
I got here literally right on time. That was stressful. And then I leave here to go to the office for an hour for some paperwork stuff. And then I've got to show a house at 4. And then I've got a business meeting at 5. And sometime I'll fit in dinner with the kids.
There you go. Day in the life. Right?
Day of the life. I mean, every day kind of
what
crazy.
Looking at the business that you've built, what are you most proud of?
The national company. I mean, like taking the risk to put myself out there in that way and seeing an opportunity to create something that was outside of just like the St. Louis market, recognizing that I had a pretty cool niche and knowing that I'd created something that others could duplicate in their market and wanting to give that to others. I like love that I'm not coveting this in like a really weird way. I love sharing. I mean, the more realtors that know more about physician loans, the better. When I first got married to my physician husband, we bought a home. Luckily, he was a veteran as well, so we could use a VA loan. But a realtor just didn't know what a physician loan was, had never heard of it. I mean, it's 100% financing, no PMI, like really great interest rates. As if you're a resident and stuff, they kind of overlook what your student loan debts are. They base it off of future income. There's so many good things about them. They're non-conforming, so condos are easier. There's just so many great things about that product. And no one presented it to me. So, and now when I'm writing offers for doctors, it's nice because on the listing agent side, I'm always calling and introducing myself and letting them know, like, hey, you're going to see 100% financing, but don't freak out. Like, second to cash, it's non-conforming, it's a conventional loan. Like, there's no extra predications like you would have on a VA, like during the appraisal and stuff. But again, it's just like that educate. And now I'm educating the seller's agent, and hopefully they'll move forward and look into it a little bit more and be more educated if they get those clients.
That's great. That's great. Have you, getting into the industry and learning and growing, is there any mentor or leader that you've looked up to, or anyone that's had an impact on kind of your growth?
I mean, my parents, like I said, they were business owners, and just the grind, the highs, the lows, understanding there's peaks and there's valleys, and the perseverance that you have to have through it. The first broker, Lucy Fight with Lou Realty Group, adore her to the moon and back. Like, she is the sweetest human being ever. She's so successful. She's incredible at what she does. And I learned a ton from Lucy. And so I like cried so much when I left that brokerage, because it wasn't just like, leaving a brokerage. Leaving her was really hard, but I've really enjoyed my transition and the brokers that I have now. Jason Pasha and Matt Travellini they're funny because they're like stepbrothers. I love the combination of their personalities as much as I adore them individually and what they have to teach me. What I love most about being there is I'm not the number one agent, like not even close. And so everybody there is just so kind to one another and willing to give time and experience and advice. I'm kind of a baby agent in regards to how long I've been in the industry. You get those agents that are like, I've been doing this for 30 years. And I'm like, I can tell. But they have a lot to teach. And it's cool that I can be around young agents and experienced agents and very, very successful agents. And they're all willing to share their experience and their success and their strategies. And so there's a lot of people.
Okay. Anything else you want to dive into? Any other question? What question haven't I asked that I should have?
Oh, my goodness.
What's been the most impactful book or podcast that you've listened to?
I don't read.
It doesn't have to be business.
I know. I don't read a lot for like self-help. I work enough that like sometimes I need to turn off my work brain. So I go through books like nobody's business, like a couple a week, but it's all like,
Really? Okay.
No,
so you're an avid reader.
I read a ton, but it's nothing that's going to help anyone with their career. But last year I was going through a divorce and trying to figure out just lifing on my own and overcoming some stuff personally. And The Mountain Is You was a book that really helped me kind of understand personally some of the things that I needed to persevere through and let go of and adapt to in order to just be a better human. Yeah. So The Mountain Is You. It's a really good one.
Well, Zoe, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I appreciate your time. And I know everybody's going to get a ton of value from the episode.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Awesome. We'll catch you on the next one.